In this video I want to talk to you about English Literature Paper 2, Modern Texts and Poetry. Specifically, I want to show you how to go about finding the correct questions so that you do not risk losing marks by answering on texts that you've not studied. The modern text that we have all studied is Blood Brothers. That is the case for all of you. Okay? And the poetry section that we've all studied is Power and Conflict. Okay? Everybody does section C, which is the unseen section. One more tip with this question or this paper is that because it's got three sections, section A, Blood Brothers, section B, Power and Conflict, and section C, the unseen, we've got three sections to juggle rather than two in your literature paper 1. The way that you should break down the timings for this are really quite easy. 45 minutes on each section, and that should mean that you have ample time to be able to answer all of the questions. The only time that you need to be careful really is in section C, because section C is actually broken into two separate questions. In this question, you should spend around about 25 to 30 minutes. And in this question, I would recommend that you spend 15 to 20 minutes. This first question that I've highlighted in green is worth more marks than the second one, so you should dedicate slightly more time to this part compared to the second one. In this question, this first one that's worth 25 minutes of your time, you are just exploring one single unseen poem. And in the second part, you have to compare two unseen poems to each other. The total amount of time still adds up to the 45 minutes that you have in all of the other sections. So again, the first thing that you do is you read the instructions. Black ink, one question from section A, one question from section B, and both questions from section C. And again, like in paper 1, the exam board have been really helpful. They've listed all of the questions that are available and the pages that they are on. And again, a bit like paper 1, you need to ask yourself, have I studied an Inspector Calls? No. Have I studied Blood Brothers? Yes. That is your question. Have you studied A History Boys? No. DNA? No. And the same with all of the other ones. Now that seems like an awful lot of wasted paper, but again, the exam board have to legislate for different schools, choosing different texts, and the text that we choose just happens to be near the start, and it is the Blood Brothers questions. They are on pages 3 and 4, or questions 3 and 4, and they are on page 5. And what you would do is you'd flick your way through the exam paper until you find the Willie Russell questions, Blood Brothers. And one word that's particularly important here in this paper is this little word here, okay? It means that you have to select one question. You should not just jump in to the first one that is there and do that one. That would be silly. You need to spend some time looking at this question and then looking at the second Blood Brothers question, and then